I'm Eric Talaska, 2024 presidential candidate of the United States, going to talk with you about racism, and the timing will be regarding George Floyd's murder in Milwaukee, Wisconsin recently. I want to start out with making a statement that scientifically there's really no such thing as multiple human races. There's not a black race, there's not a Caucasian race, there's not a Latino race, but rather those are just genetic variations of the one human race. So let's get that straightened out first. What's really happening is there is a there's not anyone who hates any race. They hate a culture. For example, um, in this case, the black versus white culture in particular, or aspects of the culture. So someone with black skin uh, most likely will have a typical trait of the black skin culture. It's not a race. Now, some of that, everybody has their personal preferences on music, for example, or whatever, that's fine. Now, with the Minneapolis Police Department, what they should do is advertise they should advertise a formal apology to the entire world, in particular the entire United States. Then they need to promise to retrain their officers and follow through, and then rebrand their organization. The solution um, is not is of course not violence like this, um, because overall that will just backfire, and it, and then I want to say the solution will be to email and call the police departments. So if you overwhelm the police departments with emails and calls and complaints on their website, that will be a lot more effective than violent protests, because all this does is wastes police resources, and it makes everybody, both sides, more angry and resentful against each other even more. It just furthers the divide. And I want to mention, in no way am I endorsing what happened, but this is an isolated incident in Minneapolis, and it's extremely tiny compared to, if you look at the white officers who have risked their lives to protect black citizens, is extremely far more in numbers than the amount of white officers who harm black citizens. So what I'm trying to say is, if you have a bar graph and it represents how many white officers have been called out in response to incidents that black people that have been involved, black culture, um, it would be in the millions of times white officers have risked their lives in order to protect black citizens. And if you had if you could chart how many white officers have actually committed police brutality, you wouldn't be able to see it on the chart. It would be overwhelmed by the amount of the white officers who were helping the black citizens. Now let me switch over to another topic, and that's going to be factory farmed animals. The reason why I bring this up is because this is far greater of a concern than the police brutality incidents. These incidents are isolated and very few. They shouldn't exist, but there are very few of them. now we have sentient beings, factory farmed animals, that are tortured and murdered in the millions every day. Not every year, not every month, not every week, but every day it's millions. So it would be trillions per year of sentient animals such as pigs. They have all of the same emotions and feelings as people, and somewhat even more, because their senses are more sensitive than humans. The sense of hearing, touch, smell, sight, they depend on those more than humans do. And in many ways, we are torturing them in order to unnecessarily eat them. We don't need to eat meat. It may be okay, I suppose, to eat organic eggs from humanely treated chickens. That's one thing. But this is a completely different thing here. And at some point we need to draw the line between where is the cutoff, where's the line drawn between what animals are sentient beings and which aren't. For example, mollusks without brains, etc. And so yeah, if you're so concerned about humans being wrongfully dealt with, we're all in this together, and the animals are actually in much more grave situation than we are, and there are also many species that are endangered that we're killing off, and we don't have the right to exterminate species, which we already have several of them, and we need to stop doing that. So the solution, if you're really concerned about the pain and suffering of any living creature that has feelings, then you need to stop eating meat and encourage your family not to eat meat. Don't buy meat. No matter what your religion is, no religion is an excuse to have dominance over the animals like this. No God would want someone in their kingdom who treats others like this. And that's pretty much the summary that I have to say about that. Your comments are welcome. You can be critical if you like, but you need to back up your facts and be civil about it. Thanks.